So, hi, this is Trinity, and thanks for listening. This is going to be an unusual recording. One, I haven't really scripted anything out. Two, I haven't really gotten any sleep. And three, this is going to be directly off the cuff. I have no time to really play that kind of a game today, so be prepared and please be forewarned. Um, While surfing the net, looking around, just trying to get little bits of information, wrap my head around the day, I bumped into a ton of information. After so many years of doing research, I found the most fascinating thing to look into is people in general, not just races or places or countries, people in general and their basic reactions to information. And it's I want to say it's something that people become prepared for, but that's bullshit because the stuff that I saw and the things that I'm seeing today are just ridiculous. And it really pains me to know that no matter how much information we get and how many truths are told, that we're forced to constantly spin around in circles. That's our main purpose is to just keep feeding the machine. That's it. And that's exactly what we're doing. I'm going to mention some people. I'm going to mention some instances. I'm going to mention some stuff. And if you decide you want to stick around to listen, go right ahead. And if you choose to shut it off, it's cool. But I need to get some information out there. And I need those who are prepared to listen to hear me clearly. Shit is going down. And I'm normally not that person. I don't react to basic news information or anything like that. But when things come out in clusters like this, then yes, it sets off a little alarm for me. Ask anybody that knows me, that doesn't happen often. So, David Icke, who has been on the scene for what, 30 years? He's been this, let's say, mixed kind of guy. You either love him or you hate him. But there's one thing that you cannot deny these days, and it's that he's been mentioning certain things for many, many years. And a lot of it has been coming true. I follow his page on my Facebook account, and there was a link that I haven't seen come up on his page yet. But apparently, he's been trying to expose this entire pedophile ring in Britain. I mean, he's been going on and on and on about it, like in your face kind of stuff. He wasn't downplaying a damn thing, and I didn't really see anybody else in the I call it the conspiracy realist community. Nobody was really talking about it, and I get that I'm in the U.S., but shit happens around the world. I want to hear about everything. So apparently, a huge thing happened today. Bunch of people got busted, and I'm not talking about just regular guys trafficking women or girls or boys. I'm talking about people in parliament, politicians, and bankers, big top guys in the hundreds are were busted today and are still getting busted as I speak. That was the one clue that I need to look around because I didn't see anybody else really mentioning it. So I kept looking and looking and looking. And then we come to find out that I think it was yesterday that Jeb Bush decided that he was gonna blurt out some stuff that, by the way, everybody should know by now, and that is that Bush and Cheney are responsible for a lot of the nonsense. I don't even have to go into detail; you can look it up. So that was another one that kind of said, "Okay, time to raise up another flag." Then today, uh, it's kind of being spread this entire race thing, but there was about seven different pieces of information that were floating about race. And I wanted to cover that just a little bit. Now, the astounding amount of people, I ain't say a color of anybody, of people in general that are getting murdered by the police is horrendous, to say the least. But I want to throw something out there so that we have a little bit of understanding on if I ever mention this ever again. The police are taught that we are the bad guy. They're literally trained for that. The same way that people in the military go through training here before they're shipped off to countries to murder other people. It's a it's the same thing. What happened was that America forgot or decided not to mention during town hall meetings that this was being taught at all the local police stations. Very rarely you bump into a video that'll show you a little bit of leaked information concerning what they discuss. But they've been really, really good about keeping that one on the down low. But in all actuality, if we took out, and I'm not saying to remove the actions, the ending actions of the police. You can't do that because people are dying and you can't really hide that as they have been for many, many years. But the intense amount that is happening now, I'm trying to say, is completely different. Not only did, and this is since the beginning, since we've had wars, that we've grown up understanding that we're always in war, whether we're blatantly discussing it or not. Our kids know about it. Their video games, television, movies, you name it, it's involved. But we decided to militarize the police, which puts them in a different mindset. And this is where I go back to you have to learn about people, just people in general. So let's say a guy, just a regular guy, he usually wears jeans and sneakers and a t shirt. And he's very mellow. He enjoys this look. And he's fine. He has to go to work on Monday. He doesn't go in his jeans and t-shirt. He goes in his work attire, which may be a suit and a tie. He will now act different. Not because he's a different person, but the outfit that he put on changed how he is. And the longer you do that, the more it sticks with you. When you have a police station and they normally have guns, or how, what, in the 30s they had like a baton. Okay, so we go into the gun and then we start changing the gun and we start making the gun better at killing, at aiming. We're not trying to slow anyone down. And people should have noticed that shit for 30 years. Nobody, we haven't been weaponizing them to slow us down or to get people to be able to stop. That's what the taser was for. How the hell are we still killing people with tasers? That's something we got to get into at another time. But for right now, the gun situation is horrendous. We keep giving it to them. Now we're giving them tanks. We're giving them small drones. We're giving them machine guns to go into little towns. This is happening, and it's not them in particular. And I need you to understand in a psychological sense, this is not them. When they don't have on the uniform and they're not policing the streets, it's so rare, and this is why I'm telling you to pay attention. It's so rare that an off-duty police officer is running around trying to be a vigilante and stop crime. These are guys that are usually very gun happy and usually willing to shoot fairly quickly. And it's the setting. Every police station that is militarizing their police, they're not just giving them guns and saying, wow, I really hope you learn how to use this when you get onto the street. They train them. There was a police station either early this year or late last year that had gotten in trouble for having the, oh shit, what is that called? The silhouette or whatever at the gun range. They had them as all, and mind you, I don't just mean a black silhouette behind a white background. I'm talking about this was the actual faces of African Americans that have been arrested and that are in the books at the police station. These are the photos they were using to shoot. Now, do you honestly think that that is not psychologically doing something to someone? Considering, and this isn't racist at all, this is how everybody kind of feels. Uh, every black person looks the same. Every white person looks the same. Every Asian person looks the same. If I go to the gun range and I want to be good at my job and I want to be good at what I do, and my captain keeps telling me, you just keep bringing in them fucking criminals, don't worry about it. We got your back. We're all the boys in blue. Don't worry about it. Here, take this fancy little gun and go in there and make sure that when you shoot right. But that picture is constantly of somebody who looks like a guy that you're probably going to go see later on tonight when you have a uniform on. That is a mindset that you have to understand. You turn into someone else. The stories when you're a child and you begin to grow up, and it's Cinderella. What happens? She's this little chick, she's a bum, she's like a maid, and then boom, she has a glass slipper. Her pumpkin turns into a coach. You get the gist of what I'm saying. It's a mindset. And not only are we not understanding that mindset and understanding where it's actually coming from, we're actually taught it as children and we grow up in that way. We absolutely grow up in that way. If people were to start understanding that the race issue and the cop issue and the state militarization issue is not an individual issue, it's a group issue, and it's not them against us. It's all of us. Because you know what? If we decided to go into straight martial law, and I'm talking about the president showing his face on TV and announcing that the United States is going to be under martial law for all states, those cops who are not realizing cannot protect their family and friends the way they think they can. There isn't a secret place where their friends and families and their children and their wives get to go. That's the lack of mindset of nobody, teaching them, not even teaching them, reminding them that that's how the system actually works. That's the only way that we would actually get everybody to be in a group and actually do things correctly, is to re-educate them to understand who the we and the they are, because they forget and they forgot, and they're showing it every chance they get. And every time they kill someone else, whether it's accidental, whether it's a guy who stepped on a rusty nail when he got arrested and 3 weeks later died of an infection, we automatically see it as criminal violence. And every day before they leave that station and get in those cars and start policing, getting calls, okay, I don't mean just randomly walking around in the streets beating the shit out of people. I'm talking about getting calls and go to someone's house. They already know that we're angry, and that we see it, and that we're seeing the videos and we're hearing the audio and we're seeing the dash cams and the body cams and everybody's cameras. This was designed. This is not accidental. This isn't coincidental. This isn't the moon going into the sun and the whatever the hell people say. It's none of that. It's none of that. It's basic human instinct. It's basic human behavior. We're just not taught that. If we went into that mindset with a clear cut understanding that they walk into work every day the same way that a doctor would walk into work and find out that there was a mass accident and there's going to be a bunch of people in, automatically, boom, they have to get into a certain mindset. That's how we work. That's a human, that's how we actually live and function as humans, that separate us from the animals. And by the way, I'm not saying that we're better than animals, by the way. Animals are way smarter than we are. And they understand how things work. But the people that are running the system, they understand the triggers. They get to watch us from a distance. We share these ideas. The way that I'm sharing my ideas right now, they could take that, they could profile and say, okay, this is what she knows, this is what she doesn't know. They can do that. Same way they do it when you're on a forum, when they do it when you're on Facebook, when they do it when you're reading your emails. All of these things are not in the imagination of one person. These are actual facts that are thrown in our faces. But then we get distracted and we fall off the course, and then we all start debating and having these horrific discussions. Now, I was just on a forum that I frequent, and somebody just posted a video about a list during the Ferguson, Missouri protests. and that a list came out of people that have now been opening their mouths, which I'm sure they agreed not to tell anybody at some point, but they had agreed to cause a ruckus or riot and they would get paid. They didn't get their money. And they were like, you know what? Screw you. We want our money. And they started spilling the beans. Now, this isn't going to do anything. This coming out, the Bush Cheney shit coming out, the explosion going on in Britain today, all of these things, and all of a sudden, uh, there's another website, and I'm not mentioning any names here. There's another website that just put out a link of the 13 most what horrific videos of police killing. Literally, they're actual videos of murders right there. Real life, in your face murders. This isn't a movie, this isn't a television show. You get into that mindset. I don't know any other way to explain how the human mind works in this capacity. We're living in terrifying times, and not because the videos are available, but the amount of people that are watching it and don't understand. I see these guys, and I watched only a couple of the videos. There's no way in hell I was going to watch all those videos. There was a lot. There's no way that I watch these videos, and as hurt as I get for those people and those people's families, you can tell the difference between somebody being scared shitless that somebody is going to kill them first. We live in a dog eat dog world. And when you have a gun and you're afraid that everybody else in the world, because this is what they're being taught at the police station, is that every single person has a gun and that we all have the capability. Okay? And it wouldn't even surprise me, seriously, and I know this isn't a joke, but it wouldn't even surprise me if they were telling people that if a 3-year old could pick up a Nintendo gun and play Duck Hunt, then anybody can shoot you. You walk around like that, that's why we're arresting 5-year olds and 6-year olds. That's why we're in this shit. And we're not, and still we're debating each other. We're debating each other on race. Oh, well, there was some white guys that got murdered in those videos. Why does that count? It doesn't count. It doesn't count. If they were to stop bringing up that they're police officers and instead take them, take them to get psychologically tested, wait till you see the tests that come back. You want to be scared? That will scare the shit out of you. Nobody would leave their homes if we would have just turned around and say, we're going to go to Washington. We're going to take all the police. We're going to take all of these people, and we're not going to take them all to jail. We're going to take them to a psychological testing facility first, and then we're going to take their asses to jail. Because not only are they going to, half of them need to be in jail, the other half are going to have to be in the fucking insane asylum. That's the world we live in. That should scare you. Not your neighbor, not the black guy down the street, not the Mexican up the block, not the white guy that looks like, that got a Confederate flag on his window. These people shouldn't scare you. This is an entirely different mindset, and it's one that's controlling us and playing us, and we're not seeing it for what it is. If we stopped looking at people as enemies constantly and looked at people as people, we would understand. Here's another thing that I'm sure is going to upset people, and I frankly don't give a shit. It's the same way that, again, I saw a video, and this is all since yesterday, that they're posted all over the web, um, people in Yemen screaming, death to America. First of all, I'm not America. I live in a place called, or so-called, America, but I am not America. When I see those people yelling death to America, I don't think that they want to personally come to my home and murder me because I'm not my country. I live in this country. And if it was my country, none of this shit would be happening. I wouldn't even be having this conversation because we'd be talking about rainbows and unicorns. That's not the life we live in. We need to stop taking shit personal. Our government goes and takes the flag, yes, the one especially for you patriots out there, okay? They're the ones representing you. They're the ones. Not you on a personal level. Nobody wants to go and kick down your 4th of July thing like every single year. There's some kind of doom porn about somebody doing some shit. Really? You really think that anybody's really paying attention to the 4th of July? You think people are seriously just so concerned with a holiday that you decided, that you took from your own man-made history and decided to put a flag on it to give it a day so you have a day off so everybody can go get drunk and eat a bunch of chicken? That makes no sense. No, nobody cares about that. They have their own issues. But the fact that we take it so personal, we take it so deeply as if it's our own personal issue. They're mad at the government. They're not mad at us. But the government tells us that it's us. Oh, they hate you for your freedom. Wake up. If you could tell me three freedoms that those countries wish that they had, sure, they want their 3-year-olds to have a two-piece bikini. I'm sure that they're just scratching at that. Oh, maybe they want the Jersey Shore. There's not a damn thing. There's not a damn thing. And if you ask people, serious people that really do give a shit about who's representing them, they would be like, seriously, we haven't had freedom for a very long time. And we still don't. And we live in this world that's completely covered in a bubble where our media, our news, our radio, everything we do is consumed by the same group of people that are literally spoon feeding you shit all day long. If you want things to change, if you want things to be different, then you have to make them different. You have to make them different. Here's an example. We think we're in debt, right? Yeah, we'll cover that another day. So we think we're in debt. So they keep constantly putting these numbers, these very high numbers, millions and billions. But if you look, there's symbols and wordplay. If you look at the money and it has a dollar sign next to it, right? And then it has something with like wealth, or there's like dollar bills flying down in the background. Okay, that's all mental images to make you think that whoever is next to the dollar bills or whoever's next to the dollar symbol has wealth. If we take that seriously, if we honestly take that seriously, that's why there's 7 billion people on the planet. At least 6 billion of them are literally living in shambles, because I had a huge debate this weekend about that. Everybody's like, oh, they want to take over the whole world. They did. Oh, we're worried about World War III. You don't have to. The shit's been going on for what? Hundreds of years. That's been happening. The thing is that we're in a bubble here and we don't know what's going on in the rest of the world. They're like, oh, they're going to get everybody with the phones and the chips. No, they're not. They can't. They can get us because we believe that it works. We believe that they're going to chip all of us. And even if they did, it's not a worldwide thing. Okay? Perfect example, North Korea. How the hell do they keep all of those fucking people there? It's brainwashing. They think the guy has unicorns. Okay? They think that they are living, walking, talking gods. And they live in the most horrific place. And they don't leave. And not because they don't want to leave. Okay? There's a very small amount of people that want to leave. The majority, believe what you want, the majority don't want to go anywhere. When you have Stockholm Syndrome that badly, you think of this as the only place. I say that they can't do that on a worldwide basis because the majority of the world do not have cell phones or televisions or electricity or a fucking toilet. When you get out of that mindset that there's all these people and overpopulation, let's save this, we don't have that. Get a fucking map. Look this stuff up. Go continent to continent. Yes, it's going to take you a little bit of looking and you'll have to search some stuff, but I promise you it'll be way, way worth it. As a matter of fact, if you actually stayed with me this long, please, please, anything I've said, debate me on it. Write me a letter. I'll leave all the information on this video. Leave me a letter, leave me an email. Shit, I'm gonna leave my Skype. Whatever you want to do, prove me wrong. But prove that there's overpopulation. Prove that there are more people on this planet that can be controlled by electronic means outside of the US or the UK that can actually be controlled because of their electronic devices. You will be surprised. Your whole perception of what's going on will crumble. It will. And I don't give a shit which college you went to or how many books you read or how smart you think you are. Prove to me that serious overpopulation is so, and don't just tell me in the US. Prove that there is no psychological damage being done to police officers today. And I don't count, like lawyers and shit like that. They know the game. But I'm talking about actual police officers that are running around literally killing people that have screwdrivers and rocks. They killed a dude with rocks. They killed a guy with a sleeping bag. There's something else going on. It's psychological. We're all being trained to see the same thing. This is why I decided to just go on this rant and say, you know what? There's things that need to be said. There's things that need to be understood. There's conversations we need to be having. And the ones that we're having about people on TV or people in the movies, it's bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And the fact that we're actually investing the majority of our time consumed with it is fascinating. That's a psyop of its own. That's the exact same thing. The way that North Korea has the things that they have to listen to on the loudspeakers all day and this horrific robotic life that they live. They literally are born that way and they die that way. They don't even know anything is wrong. A lot of us have a sense something's wrong here. And a lot of us are trying to get through and trying to say, okay, let's put the bullshit aside. Let's not argue. Uh, let's talk about the basic information. If you can already know, if you could already know so that you can understand the videos that will be coming from me from here on in, here's some information, look it up. If you don't like me, you don't like what I gotta say, fine, but prove me wrong. Give me that respect, okay? Prove that there's overpopulation. Prove that RFID chips can work on a worldwide, and understand when I say world, I mean the whole fucking world. Prove that the whole world can be controlled. Okay, and believe me, this is from the person that did a blue beam video. Yeah, all of that. When you research, you can't stop. You just can't. I did at some point believe that Project Bluebeam is possible. And that was because of atmospheric machines and actual light shows that can actually happen. But I'm talking about the RFID chip. How they're bringing it up again. How they're saying that, oh, now hackers are putting it in their hands. And are you. We have to put a stop to it. Like I said, prove that there's a serious overpopulation. Prove that the majority of the planet can absolutely be controlled by a one world currency. The only way that could happen is if everybody had money. Nobody got money. That means you would also have to prove that the powers that be are going to actually give money to people that never even seen it and or had it. Okay? Now you want to say worldwide, fine. Then prove to me that whichever country that you think is going to be able to pull this off, because it wouldn't be the U.S. Anyway, uh, prove that that one currency could actually be worldwide because everybody has money. That's how worldwide currency works. But the only people that are falling for that story are those who think that the whole world revolves around where they live. Can't be a worldwide thing. You want to be scared of the apocalypse. You want to be scared about um, banking disaster and a worldwide NWO and the Illuminati, this shit. Fine. Believe in all of that. But prove it. Not just your area. Prove that it's a worldwide thing. If we all start realizing that there's no way that these people are even close, and that the only way that they could possibly be close is if they can only convince majorities of people in only specific areas, then you'll be like, oh, I get it. Yeah, of course. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so everything else is a farce, right? And then we're living in it. We're actually putting into the mania. We're putting into it. We actually contribute to it with ignorance. and the lack of wanting to know anything, with the pure basic lack of wanting to do anything. We don't have to. It's right in our faces. We could change it if we want to change it. Thank you for listening to this rant. I love you guys. This needed to be done, and I hope to talk to you guys soon.